proximal migration. One of them is Shoemaker's line, second is Cheney's line, and third is Nelaton's line. So Shoemaker's line is connecting a line joining the greater trochanter to the ASIS on either side, and it usually crosses the midline from either side below the umbilicus. But if it is crossing above the umbilicus, or if it is moving on one side rather than on the midline, that indicates that there is a proximal migration of the greater trochanter. This is Shoemaker's line. Then there is Cheney's line, Chiene. That line is line joining both the ASIs and both the greater trochanter. Now both the lines should remain parallel all the time. If there is proximal migration of the greater trochanter on one side, the limbs would converge, okay, on this side. The line should converge on this side. That is Cheney's line. Then the third line is Nelaton's line. So these two lines were when the opposite side or opposite hip is normal. The third line is Nelaton's line, which is very important when there is opposite hip involvement also. So to determine whether the greater trochanter is really migrated or not, for that Nelaton's line you flex the hip to 45 degrees, and knee to 90 degrees, and then you see for the Nelaton's line. In that you have to mark the umbilicus, you have to mark the ASIS, and you have to mark the ischial tuberosity. You have to mark the ischial tuberosity, and you have to make a line joining the ASIS to the ischial tuberosity. The greater trochanter usually just touches this line. So the greater trochanter usually just touches this line of ASIS and ischial tuberosity at 45 degrees angle. If there is proximal migration, the greater trochanter would be coming beyond this line of Nelaton. So this indicates supratrochanteric shortening on proximal migration of greater trochanter. Now there are a few other special tests. One of them is Trendelenburg's test, and another one is telescopic test. In telescopic test, what you do is flex the knee and hip to 90 degrees and give and with the other hand your thumb should remain on the ASIS and the fingers should remain on the greater trochanter to see for the migration of greater trochanter, and with the other hand you give a push and pull on the femur. So if there is a femoral neck fracture, the greater trochanter would move up and down compared to the ASIS. This you can see, that is called as telescopy test. It is also present in cases of dislocations, or if there is an excision arthroplasty already done, or if there is a non-union of neck, femur or intercapsular femur. And then there is a Trendelenburg's test. In Trendelenburg's test, we make the patient stand. Please खड़े हो जाइए. We mark the ASIS. We can also see from the front and marking the ASIS, but we mark the PSIS on either side, and we tell the patient to stand on the normal limb. We tell the patient to stand on the normal limb without any support. ये पैर पे खड़े रहिए, ये पैर उठा लीजिए, सपोर्ट मत लीजिए, स्ट्रेट. That way, that patient will usually use the abductors of this side and the opposite, meaning the limb which is not on the weight bearing position will go up. The PSI should go up. So this is normal trend and also. अभी वो नीचे रख लीजिए, ये ऊपर उठाइए. And when the patient is standing on the affected leg, either he is not able to stand or the normal side or the opposite side PSIS will be drooping down. That indicates that the abductor mechanism of this side has failed and it is not able to tilt the pelvis up to maintain the gravity. And this is a positive Trendelenburg's test. So this completes the local examination of the hip joint, but the hip joint examination is never complete without checking the opposite side hip movements at least, without seeing for the knee if there is any problem in the knee, and of course you have to see for the distal pulsations and toe movements. So the distal neurovascular examination is equally important, and that is how your hip examination is complete. Thank you.